This is Game Week 24 predictions. Last week I had a bad week, 5 points, taking me to a total of 135 points. This week we kick off with Forest versus Brighton. In Forest's game, we saw an unexpected result, a very hard watch for Forest fans, losing 5-0 to Bournemouth. Very unexpected. The only thing that I could think of is that this could be the start of the end for Forest. As for Brighton, they have a massive slip up against Everton, losing 1-0 at home. Brighton also didn't have many chances in this game, or at least threatening ones. They didn't look the best in this game. But for this game, I don't think Forest is going to slip up again. I think they're going to continue the way they were going. This is going to be at their home, but it's still going to be hard. 2-1 for me. Next up is Newcastle versus Fulham. Newcastle had a good reaction after losing to Bournemouth themselves last week. But they came back and beat Southampton with an Isak brace, which puts Isak up for contention for the Golden Boot now. I think he's 2 off of Salah. As for Fulham, they had a lackluster game. They should be giving more, threats or more shots at this United team, but they couldn't for some reason, even though United weren't even good in this game. For Newcastle versus Fulham, I feel like Newcastle are going to continue their form, but it won't be as easy because Fulham are a good team. They just had a bad game. I'm going to go for an exciting 4-2 win to Newcastle. Next up is Everton versus Leicester. Everton, they got their second win in a row under Moyes. Last week they beat Spurs, and now they beat Brighton, two, decent opponents. Maybe not Spurs at the moment, but you know what I mean. But I don't know how Moyes does it. He's guaranteeing his teams a mid-table spot or even better under West Ham. I see now that it was a good decision to get rid of Deitch. As for Leicester, they also win, beating Spurs themselves. Vardy getting a goal, and then of course going at the Spurs fans for not having a Premier League title, let alone any title or championship. They suck. But this game, or this win, did push them out of relegation. They swapped places with Wolves, and they could continue that form against Everton, but it will be a tough game. Honestly, I don't think they'll do it. Everton have 2 wins under their belt. Moisey is a little bit better, than Rude, or a lot better. It should be easy at home, but I'm going to go for a low-scoring 1-0 win to Everton. Next up is Ipswich versus Southampton. Ipswich getting a beating back-to-back. Last week it was City, this week it was Liverpool. 9 goals conceded in 2 games. The only good thing I can take out of this game is that Enciso is here now. He got an assist immediately, which I called. I called Enciso should go to Ipswich in my recommendation video. So I'll take credit for that. And then there's Southampton. They were never going to get anything out of this game against Newcastle. The only thing that I can say about this game is that they have a player with Fernandes. He's a great player. I said it earlier in the season, and I'm saying it again now. I think he's a great player. He provides a lot for the team. But sadly for them, they're going to get relegated. Therefore, I think he's going to get a move in the summer. For this game, Ipswich have to bounce back if they want to keep pushing out of that relegation zone. Southampton are done for. This is Ipswich's game, but it's going to be tough for them. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Ipswich. Bournemouth versus Liverpool is next. Bournemouth absolutely demolishing Forest. 5 goals. Very dominant performance. Otara getting himself a hat-trick. Clivert proving himself that he is a good player. Just a goal machine the last 2 games they've had. And I want to give a shout out to Otara because getting a hat-trick and being the 3rd option striker is unheard of. Normally, starters don't even get hat-tricks, but being a 3rd option and doing it is really impressive. As for Liverpool, they also win. They also have a good performance, 4 goals on Ipswich. Everybody got something in this game. But the most important thing is that they rested their players for the PSV game in the Champions League. And now they're going to come with all their rested players, starters, for this game. And it's going to be tough for Bournemouth, who is struggling with injuries. A lot of their players, like I said, Otara is not even a second option. He's the third option. Very hard. It's going to be very hard for them. Liverpool should be winning this, but Bournemouth are going to give it a go. I'm going to go 3-2 to Liverpool. Next up is Wolves versus Villa. Wolves, very unmotivated, had no drive to capitalize on the red card that Arsenal got. And then João Gomez goes on and gets himself a red card. Idiotic mistake or just decision. Very bad from them. Nobody looks like they want to be there. Cunha doesn't want to be there. We've clearly seen that. Just awful from Wolves. As for Villa, they went against West Ham. They had their chances in the first half. Second half, they kind of fell off. But they still got the draw. But the most important things are happening outside the Prem for Villa. They got top 8 in the Champions League, guaranteeing a top 16 spot. Emery is really, really good at European competitions. I knew that, but top 8 is crazy. But the most important piece of news for Villa is that Duran most likely is leaving. I think that's an awful news for everyone because I wanted to see Duran in the league perform. I think he could have been top 5 strikers in the world at some point in his career, but now he's going to Saudi, and I think he's throwing it all away. I hate it. Just wanted to say that. As for this game, Villa versus Wolves, it's gonna be at Villa's home or at Wolves' home. That shouldn't be an issue. Villa should have this, but Villa do concede. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win to Aston Villa. United versus Crystal is next. United won through a very lucky deflection. Martinez shot the ball. It was going up. It hit the player like this, and somehow the ball kept going down. That doesn't make sense with physics. I don't get that. But they still won it with that goal. As for Crystal, there was a penalty controversy. Lacroix was the one that committed the foul, but I don't even think it was a foul. But the good thing to take out of this game, even though they lost, was Eze, not Eze. Their new signing, Eze, comes in and scores off his first touch. It's a new tool they can use, new option in attack, which is good for them. As for this game, United games are becoming very hard to predict, so I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. Brentford versus Spurs is next. Brentford had a decent battle against Crystal, who I just talked about. And Buemu getting himself a pen, missing it, and then have to retake it. That was also controversial, but he scored the second one, and then Sade injuring himself for the second goal, head injury. I don't know how bad it is, but it looked pretty bad. As for Spurs, they lose again back-to-back against Everton and Leicester, relegation teams. There's a reason why Spurs are down there with them. Richarlison gets himself a goal. I feel like that's his first goal he's had in this white shirt. I think he's awful. But this is an all-time low for Spurs. We thought City were bad. We thought United were bad. But this Spurs is taking it to a whole nother level. As for this game, it's going to be Brentford's home. Brentford's home. It's hard to beat Brentford at there. It's going to be another loss for Spurs. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Brentford. Next up is Arsenal versus City. Arguably best game of the week, or should be at least. Arsenal had a meh game against Wolves, but that was mostly due to the red card. They couldn't really do anything until João Gomez got himself a red card, and then that's when they could come out a little bit more, go at them a little bit more. But their goal came through an unexpected scorer, Calafiori, again coming to the rescue. The last time he scored a goal, I think, was against us, and it was also a decent goal, like good-looking goal. As for City, this game was about debuts, Marmoush and Kushinov. Marmoush, we'll talk about Marmoush first, which was the good debut. A lot of energy, he was a bit selfish, but I think we need that at the moment. We need selfishness, we need energy, risk takers. We need that at the moment because we have no confidence, we have nothing going on, and I feel like he should be giving us a little bit more. As for Kushinov, he was at fault for that goal, heading the ball back soft, so soft. I don't know why he did it with his head. He could have done it with his foot or something else, just clear it. Then he got a yellow card. He looked like he was going to break down in the pitch. I felt bad for him. But yeah, very bad debut. Hopefully he can pick it back up. After those mistakes, he looked decent. But yeah, bad debut overall. For this game, Arsenal versus City, I don't think City have it. I don't think we have it. We're 6 points behind Arsenal, which is surprising, but I think Arsenal are going to make it 9 points. I think it's going to be 2-1 win to Arsenal. Chelsea versus West Ham is last game of the week. Chelsea losing to City, which makes it 1 win in 7 games now. Chelsea are slowing off so hard. The fact that Madueke looked like their best player or best attacker in this game is not good. He should be their worst looking attacker. You have Sancho, who was getting bigged up at the beginning of the season. I didn't really see it too much, and now people are saying, yeah, that was a waste. And they're trying to get Garnacho to replace him now. I don't know what they're doing. Jackson has slowed off. Palmer hasn't been Palmer. Just not good enough for them. As for West Ham, that game was a game of 2 halves. Aston Villa had the first one, then West Ham had the second one, and they could have honestly gone and won it. They had a disallowed goal. Paqueta's goal was disallowed. They looked like the better team towards the end, but it just wasn't enough. Honestly, this Potter team is also confusing me. They've won, they draw, and they lost. So very hard to predict their games as well. But for this game, Chelsea versus West Ham, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. And those are my Game Week 24 predictions. Tell me what you think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.